raise their hand. Hopefully I can change your mind today.
No, the microphone doesn't work, so you know, so if
Oh,
you're
does
not
it?
comfortable standing anywhere, you can.
Oh, okay, well, I'll just make sure I speak up then.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've been here, and it truly is an honor to be here. And thank you for Gift of Hope for asking me to be here. I'm here today because I can speak to you about the light in the darkness of loss, solace for the heartache, and provide meaning to the chaos. I can tell you about my boy, my little superhero, my smiling child, my little Dylan Richardson, my son. Despite the best efforts of the talented doctors and nurses here, he left us way too early at the early age of 7 years old. But in his leaving, he left light, goodness, and life for others. Dylan was a donor, and this is our story. Again, this is my son Dylan, or our son Dylan. My wife Lisa's down here with me. And this is one of our favorite pictures of him. It was taken at my nephew's wedding just 4 days before the accident, and you wouldn't necessarily know by looking at the picture, but his two front teeth are hanging on by just a thread. And we were glad that they hung on for the wedding. Dylan was your typical 7-year-old boy. He loved SpongeBob SquarePants, baseball, riding his bike, playing with friends, and he loved superheroes. And his favorite superhero was Spider-Man. He loved life, and he just loved to have fun. And he was just a wonderful kid to all that knew him. Dylan was in a car accident and took the brunt of the impact and suffered broken bones and severe head trauma. He had to be airlifted here to Lutheran from Aurora. Unfortunately, Dylan didn't get to enjoy his one and only helicopter ride. But valiant efforts went into to try to save him here, including removing part of his skull to allow his brain to swell, or to allow room for his brain to swell, and to relieve pressure. And after that, the doctor said, all we can do is wait. So there we have it. Mere hours before that those words were said to me, our lives were normal and routine. And then our world is suddenly turned upside down. Dylan is laying there with tubes, wires, monitors everywhere, and wearing a gauze helmet. As an inquisitive person that I am, I needed to know what everything was, what all the monitors were, and stuff like that. So I asked a lot of questions. What is this for? What does that mean? I would ask, and there was one monitor that I had never seen before, and it measures something called ICP, which I imagine you're all familiar with. The ICP monitor read 60 at the point, and after I learned what it was, I asked the nurse, this was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I asked the nurse if the reading was considered high, and she looked at me with the most compassionate way, and she said something to the effect that, I don't know if I can really say, but I could tell by the way she answered that she knew. So I asked again. I said, is it considered high? And she said, yeah, it's considered very high. Dylan's ICP actually continued to rise, and eventually the swelling in Dylan's brain proved too much. And Dylan was pronounced brain dead about 40 hours after the accident. At the time, organ and tissue donation was the last things on our mind. It just isn't something that you think about when you're holding hope that your 7-year-old child is going to pull through. Organ and tissue donation was on someone's mind though. The team here at the hospital. You guys knew what to do. You knew to contact Gift of Hope. And I'll tell you, when Gift of Hope first approached us about the possibility of donating Dylan's organs, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I was like, what? He's just hurt really bad, and he'll get better, and he'll wake up. And to donate his organs, I'm like, are you kidding me? I got angry. Unfortunately, you probably run into those situations where families get a little upset about those things. I said, I don't want to donate his organs. I just want to know when I can take him home. You see, at the time, saying yes to organ donation meant that we had to accept and acknowledge that Dylan wasn't going to come home. And that was just so incredibly hard. But, eventually the reality of Dylan not coming home, staying in, and the ultimate decision to donate Dylan's organs was easy. It was easy because, as a family, we believed that it's the right thing to do. How we got there was the hard part. The next day, Dylan became a superhero. He saved the lives of 3 people through organ donation. And how fitting is it that such a fan of superheroes gets to become one? Not too many 7-year-olds gets to become a superhero. And Dylan's superpowers have literally reached across the globe. Dylan's heart saved a young girl in South Carolina. Dylan's kidneys saved a 65-year-old man in Kansas named Joe. It's amazing to me that a 7-year-old's kidneys could save a grown man's life. Now, here's an interesting and very powerful part of Dylan's story. Joe is a lifelong Shriner and volunteers at Shriners hospitals. This man spent his entire life helping children at Shriners hospitals, and now a child of all people helps him in return. How wonderful is that? And Dylan's liver saved a young man named Ali, and although the transplant took place in Chicago, Ali lives halfway around the world in the United Arab Emirates. So Dylan is truly a world famous superhero. We have received letters from a couple of Dylan's recipients. We've actually met Joe. He's a wonderful man. And Joe has returned volunteering for the Shriners. And in addition to that, he now advocates for organ and tissue donation. We've spoken to Ali in the United Arab Emirates. He was able to return to school and is doing okay. And for the young woman that received Dylan's heart, we have not communicated yet, but we still hold out hope that we know she's doing okay, but we hold out hope that we will make contact someday soon. We want Dylan's organs to continue to function and allow these folks to have a normal life. And if you think about it, if the 2 younger people that received Dylan's gifts were to have children someday, Dylan's legacy and gifts will live on forever. Organ and tissue donation involves some pretty miraculous stuff. There's no question. Now that we look back, we're grateful we were asked to donate. Because what if we weren't asked? If we weren't asked, Dylan would have just died. Nothing more. But something beautiful came out of such a tremendous loss. That truly gives us something to hold on to, me and my wife and my family. And I hope it touches you. If we hadn't been asked, we would have today the solace and pride in knowing Dylan saved others. We wouldn't have these wonderful stories to share. Dylan's legacy lives on as a result. Now, don't get me wrong, the pain from losing Dylan, it remains, it always will. At the same time, however, we're grateful Dylan was able to help others. The need for organ and tissue donation is great. Too many people die every day waiting. And the comfort and pride we get knowing that Dylan was able to help others is why my wife and I now advocate for organ and tissue donation. I wouldn't want what happened to my family to happen to anybody, trust me. But things happen, we're proof of that. And if something were to happen, I wanna make sure that people know that organ and tissue donation may be an option, and the good that could come from such a tragedy. In fact, we know for a fact that Dylan, or sharing Dylan's story, Dylan has played a direct part in changing people's minds and choosing donation at their worst moment. Dylan's superhero story, his picture, his beautiful smile, helped someone make that decision, and we're so proud of that. Dylan has accomplished so much since he's been gone, it's amazing. He truly lives on and continues to make us very proud. Remember, none of this would have happened if it weren't for the staff here at Lutheran and knowing what to do at a horrible time. If it weren't for you and Get to Hope, Dylan would not be the hero he is today. Like I said earlier, he would have just died. So I want to thank each and every one of you here for the incredibly difficult and stressful situations that you deal with. And the next time you encounter a tragic situation, or perhaps even next time you see a red paper comic book or an advertisement for a superhero movie, do me a favor. Think about this little superhero. Think about the little boy with the shining eyes and the wide smile. Think about the way he brought life to strangers one halfway around the world. And think about how proud he has made me and my family. And think about how donation has brought us solace, peace, and pride. And though the days can be hard, still, the legacy and the light truly outlasts. Think about the miracle of donation. Thank you.
We all have families, we all have kids, we all have taken care of kids. And your speech today, well, I know personally, you would be my entire career.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. I don't have to say you want to say anything.
No, I totally agree. Your courage to stand here and share your story means the world to us, so thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, but thank all of you as well. It's bittersweet coming back here. I have been here a couple times before, but it's when I was asked to speak here, it's, like I said, it's bittersweet, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. I always want to come back and thank the folks here at the hospital for the wonderful and most compassionate job that I can recall. It was just wonderful. It was tragic but wonderful at the same time.
Thank you. Thanks to your family and